Hello, this is Lucretia with the Calm and Confident You podcast. Today, I am going to talk with you about displaced anger. This is important for you to know because we can often be confused about why we are lashing out at someone who doesn't deserve it, or we're confused by the anger someone directs at us. Displacement is a defense mechanism in which someone expresses a strong emotion, typically anger, toward a safer recipient than the actual cause of the emotion. There is a significant consequence to directing anger at someone in a position of power, so anger gets expressed towards someone who is safer, even though they don't deserve it. And this is just a matter of getting the anger out. A typical example is an employee getting yelled at by their boss or supervisor, where responding in anger would be harmful to their employment or their evaluation. The employee controls him or herself at work, but goes home and yells at their partner or their child or the family dog. Children also displace anger, which they cannot direct at adults or someone who is bigger, so they take it out on siblings or a pet or other children at school. Anger is also directed at others when the person is protecting themselves. A person might not want to admit fault or to feel shame or to feel hurt, so they react with anger. The anger serves to protect their self-esteem from taking a hit. And it tends to cause people to back off or to not even bring up a problem out of fear of the person's anger. The frequently angry person can feel powerful and certain that they are in the right. For example, expressions of anger serve the defense mechanism called victim stance, which I discussed in a previous podcast episode, number 35. As a person accuses others of mistreating them, they do so in an angry, hostile manner. It is like they are punishing others for daring to challenge their misbehavior. In addition, anger or other painful emotions can be directed into substance use or other self-destructive habits such as self-harm. Addiction can be fueled by feelings of helplessness and powerlessness. Those emotions produce a sense of anger, which can lead to the decision to drink or do drugs. If this behavior becomes a pattern, it can fuel addiction to alcohol, drugs, or compulsive behaviors. Many of the teens I see who are admitted to the hospital acute psych unit have engaged in self-harm such as cutting. This often is associated with extreme anger they felt towards others or themselves, and their way to express it was to hurt themselves. Self-harm itself is a complicated behavior with various causes and motivations. The expression of anger is just one example. To summarize, displaced anger is anger directed at an undeserving person or other living being, which is a safer option than directing it at the actual source of the anger. It can serve to protect a person emotionally and to protect their self-esteem or self-image. Displaced anger can be misdirected into substance use or self-harm behavior. So what can you do about it? One way to prevent displacement is to challenge distorted or irrational beliefs. Changing extreme thinking can reduce anger and lead to other, more appropriate responses. Being able to see a situation more realistically and accepting it as it is can lead to processing it more appropriately rather than with irrational anger. Taking the time to assess your own thinking about a situation and adjusting extreme or distorted thinking is essential to processing your actual emotions and not having them transferred into an anger response. This week going forward, take notice if your mistakes in thinking or extreme or exaggerated thoughts are contributing to anger, which you might be taking out on others. Or if someone is directing anger at you, and if you have a fairly good relationship with them, you could try simply asking, "What is really bothering you that's coming out as anger?" Only say this if their anger isn't seemingly justified. Sometimes anger is justified because something is amiss, which truly makes a person upset. Be sure that you are not dismissing a valid complaint. If you are liking this podcast, subscribe to it on your favorite streaming service such as Spotify. Look up Calm and Confident You using the and symbol when you enter the title into search. And please share this podcast with others to help it grow a following. Until next time, be well.